Love that. Okay, great. So we are going to start seated. So you can grab a block or you can sit up on the bolster if you want to, whatever you want. We'll do some breath work and just to start. So just know that you'll be sitting for a little bit. Okay, great. So sitting yourself up on whatever you have, you can sit in Virasana or cross-legged. Take time to set yourself up well so you can pull the knees out, you can pull the flesh of your butt out, and just make sure that you can feel the tops of all 10 toenails pressing down onto the floor, your knees, trying to find as much surface area as you can to the ground. And then just notice how you're sitting on your block or bolster. Notice where the sits bones are pressing down and really try to ground the perineum down into the block. So inherently that kind of tips us a little bit forward, putting us on this downhill slope. If you haven't already closed your eyes, feel free. And then just begin to notice your breath as you're sitting here. Is it a little bit quick? Is it a little bit slow? Are you breathing more into the chest? Are you able to get the breath down into the low belly to start? Notice if there's any gripping in your hands or your shoulders, wherever they're resting. Feel free to give yourself a little bit of a wiggle to take any of the tension out if you notice it there. You can take a few sighs or yawns or let anything that comes up at first before we get into some more breath manipulation. And then just take a moment to remind yourself why you're here, why you're on your mat today, why you come back to yoga again and again. Just taking a moment to put that in perspective as we move for the next hour-ish. Then you can either find your hands on your thighs or your knees, or you can grip the heels of your feet with your hands and find that ball and mitt fit with your hands on your heels. I like doing that just because it gives you a really good grip, and I always feel awkward like moving my hands down my thighs and my knees, but choose whatever feels good. And then as you inhale, you'll arch the spine, you'll bring the chest forward, your chin will slightly lift, look up, and then you'll exhale round and look towards your belly. So we're doing cats and cows on our seat. Inhaling as you go forward, exhaling as you round. Seeing if you can breathe in and out through the nose. Eyes can still stay closed here, going inward, noticing how your breath is going. And here in our Katona dialogue, we are trying to build heat from room 1, our boiler room. We're striking the match, we're building some fire. We're building the heat up from the bottom up, as we do with everything. We need to find the stability to have ability to do anything. Keep going a little bit longer, change up your speed if you want to. Really notice the polarities of going forward and back and see how far you can go forward and how far you can go back. And take like 5 more counts here. And then once you finish 5 more rounds, then you can begin circling your pelvis to the right. So circling things around in one direction. If you went to the left at first, that's okay. Just notice where you went. Eyes can still stay closed, gaze can be down, whatever floats your boat there. And notice as you're spinning here, where your hips are making good contact, or not your hips, but your sits bones and your perineum, and what's pressing down onto the block, what's making good contact in this circle, and what's maybe not making such good contact. So it's like you're stirring a bowl of brownie batter and you're trying to get all the edges so the bowl gets clean. Which parts of the bowl with your hips would you be missing? And then circle in the other direction. And if you do this a lot, sometimes you instinctively go faster. Feel free to slow it down a little bit to really get some insight into what it's like to move more slowly, or just keep going fast, however you're feeling today. Good. going. Turning to the left, noticing which side feels easier to go in. This is just like hip isolations for Grace and me, so we're used to going in both directions, but for others, this is probably more awkward. And then come back to center and then go forward and back again. Inhaling and exhaling in and out through the nose. Really trying to go to the deepest point of the inhale and the exhale to get the full experience in both directions. And then take that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just come back through center. Find yourself sitting up nice and tall, sits bones down, perineum down into the block. Palms can come face up on your thighs. Noticing what that did to your breath, what that did to your body. Just moving our hips around and breathing simultaneously. In yoga, we're always trying to make the unconscious conscious. So as we do more conscious movement, just notice what it does to us afterwards. Cool. From here, we're going to do 2 more. So you're going to find your hands and fists and have them come in front of your chest. And as you inhale, we're going to do the same movement that we did in our hips, but just exaggerate it more with the upper body as well. You'll inhale, you'll bring your elbows back, and then you'll exhale your round back in, and then keep going. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And this, you can even try to exaggerate the movement more since we're getting the arms involved so that you can take up more space, have more ability in the movement that you're doing. And all of this is just working from the ground up to bring some mobility into the spine and into the hips so that we can use our arms and upper body better in our daily life. Keep going, breath to movement, inhale, exhale, at whatever pace feels good. Feel free to exaggerate the slowness or go even faster. And then take it at whatever pace you're going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hook the thumbs up overhead. Inhale one more time, big inhale. 3 more sips in through the mouth. 1 more sniff in through the nose. Plug yourself up underneath, really bringing the pelvic floor together. And then exhale, let your arms drop. And then you can give your shoulders a little roll. Palms come face up on your thighs again. Ready to catch whatever just came out of that. Until we move on to the next thing, taking a moment to really appreciate. Give yourself grace for the work you just did. Then last one, we'll find our hands on top of our shoulders and our elbows pointing out in either direction. And then we're going to twist to the left and to the right. So as you inhale, you'll twist to the left. Exhale, you'll twist to the right. Keeping the elbows at shoulder length. Inhale, exhale at whatever pace feels good here. Feel free to still slow things down since we're in the beginning. I keep hitting the wall. That's okay. Find your space. Know where you are in space. Take up good space when you can. Still inhaling and exhaling out through the nose, relaxing the face as you go. Eyes can definitely stay closed here as you go left and right to not stay dizzy when we're moving the spine and our upper body in a different way to bring more mobility in a different direction. And then take this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hook the thumbs up overhead. 3 more sips in through the mouth. 1 more sniff in through the nose. Really feel plugged up beneath you, plugged into the block, holding yourself together. And then let everything just drop. Exhale yourself out. Give any shoulder roll or movement that you want to do. And we're here for just a little bit longer. So plant the right foot down in front of you. And then from here, place your right hand on your right back or your low back. Left hand can come onto the knee, or you can hug your knee in and just inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist to the right. So this is just a gentle twist to keep that twisting going. Noticing how the breath and body feel after that breath work. One more inhale. One more exhale. And you'll bring yourself back to center. Extend out that right leg. And those right toes will face up towards the sky. Yeah, perfect. And you can have a slight bend in this right knee since it's the beginning, but if you want to get into the stretch more, you can straighten it a little bit more. And then you'll walk yourself forward. Walking from that really nice long spine and not rounding too soon. Then you can drop your head whenever you want to get there. Just breathing into the backs of the legs and the hips. We'll do a bunch of hip stuff because why not? And our hips do a lot for us. But we'll do a mix of some strengthening stuff and some stretching, and then feel good and well-rounded. Begin to walk yourself back up. Plant that right foot back. Undo it and put the shin back on the ground. And then other side, plant that left foot down. Either hug that left knee in or just put your right hand on your left knee. Left hand comes to the low back. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist over to the left. Still finding the breath. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to twist. Notice if you're rounding back on your back of your coccyx bone, still try to be with your hips kind of in that slope down, perineum rooted into the block. And then bring yourself back to center. Straighten out that left leg a bit, can still be nice and bent. Toes face up to the sky, and then walk yourself forward. Good. Breathing into the back of the leg. This really doesn't have to be a crazy stretch since it's the first one we're doing, but take stock of how the back of your leg is feeling. Take one more inhale and exhale. Then you'll walk yourself back up. You'll plant that left foot down. You can always use your hand to help you bend your knee. Then you'll use your hand to help put the shin back down. Take a moment one more time here, noticing how you're sitting up tall, shoulders on top of hips, perineum pressing down into the block. And then we won't do Virasana again, so enjoy that we won't do that again in this class. Then you'll step that right foot down, you'll step the left foot down, and then you'll come into a forward fold. You can move the block off to the side. If you need to move yourself to come to the front of your mat, just walk yourself to the front of your mat. Find your feet at hips width distance. Slight bend in on those knees too. And then let yourself dangle over your legs. We just stretched each leg individually, so now we do both at the same time. Shake out your head, yes and no. You can even rock a little bit to the right and left, forward and back, finding yourself in the midpoint of each foot. Equal weight, forward and back, mediating in the middle. And just let yourself hang over. One more inhale and exhale. Then your fingertips will come down onto the ground. Mine are slightly outside of each foot. And I'm gonna step my left foot back. So I'm in this higher lunge. I'm gonna place my left knee down, untuck the toes, and then find my way into a good stable Anjaneyasana position. So right knee's right on top of ankle. I have a good 90-degree angle there. The top of my left toe, left pinky toe is pressing down into the mat. And then I'm reaching forward, out and up. Great. Pressing the hips forward, reaching these arms up. Still thinking about finding those nice long crescent moments. So we're going forward to go back. We're not just crunching and going back. There's always a little bit of a forward motion whenever we're doing a back bend. One more inhale. One more exhale. Bring those hands back down to the ground. They can come on fingertips, or you can put your hands on blocks, and then you'll bring those hips back. You'll lift those right toes up again. And this time, rock the right toes out, rock the right toes in. Yeah. To get other parts in the hamstring. One more inhale and exhale. Bend back into that right knee. Untuck the back toes or tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and step the left foot up. So now we're back into our forward fold. Great, find a moment here, any little wiggle. And as you inhale, you'll plant your hands on your shins, extend the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Then inhale, slowly, slowly roll yourself up to stand. Stacking vertebra on top of vertebra, really rolling yourself out. Lift the arms up overhead, look up. Hands come down into prayer, and then shake it out. Give yourself a wiggle. Good. Before we do the other side, rinsing everything out. Inhale, lift the arms up, and forward fold over your legs. This time, step the right foot back. Place the back knee down, untuck the toes, find your stable legs, right ankle in the front leg, top of that whole right foot is down on the ground. You can even try to lift up the knee and feel really stable on that back foot to know that you're really on your back leg in the right place and your hips will stay square. And then you'll reach your arms forward out and up. Coming forward, but also trying not to sink too much into that right hip. I always do that. So you lift up with that left leg, having equal weight on the left, all parts of the left foot. So your left leg is nice and strong, but allowing your hips to move forward as well. One more breath. As you exhale, hands come down to blocks or fingertips and hips come back, left toes lift up. And then same thing, turning the toes out, turning the toes in, keeping the back nice and long here. Great. One more inhale and exhale. Then you'll bend back into that left foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and step your right foot back up to your left. Interlace your hands to the base of your neck, tuck your chin in, and just really feel the whole thoracic spine, the upper part of your spine open up here. This is really good for the low back, but it also helps create some space in the upper back too. From here, keeping the hands there, this is where you'll roll yourself up to stand. Once you get to the top, there's no rush. You'll let your head just dip back into your hands. Your elbows will open up like a flower blooming. You'll rest there for a second. Strong and stable in your legs. Doesn't need to be a crazy back bend. And then your chin will come level to the ground. Arms will just drop and you'll shake it out again. Let it all go. Great. On your next inhale, lift the arms up again. Palms come to touch. Forward fold over your legs. This time, step your right foot back. Then step your left foot back. And we're in a plank pose. We're not going to dog yet. Surprise. Let's see how much we can do without a dog. Staying in plank. Hands are underneath shoulders. Your legs are super engaged. Feet are as if they're up against a wall. Belly's up and in. One more inhale here. And exhale. And then elbows wrapping in towards you. You'll lower yourself down to the mat in one line. Good. Once you get there, palm pillow underneath your forehead. Rock your hips from right to left. Then move any props off to the side that you might be in your way. You'll make a L shape with that right arm. Can't really see that on the camera, but that's okay. Grace knows what to do. Then you'll roll over onto the right side. Feel like I'm gonna knock something over, but that's fine. And then you can take some rocks forward and back here on the right shoulder, the left foot. You can step back behind or stay on top of that right, opening up the front of the right shoulder and the pec and this part of your chest. One more inhale and exhale. Come back to center and we'll do the other side. Left arm comes into this L shape on the ground. Right hand comes underneath shoulder and then roll yourself over. Head stays rested on the ground. coming in and out of it a little bit to keep a dynamic stretch. In here, getting more into the fascia and the muscle, opening it up. One more inhale and exhale. Come back to center. Palm pillow, shake out your hips for a second, and then hands come underneath your shoulders and just lift yourself up into a very baby cobra. So we're lengthening our chest out and up, shoulders down and back. One more inhale here, one more exhale. Then you'll tuck your toes, you'll press yourself back, and then come into a child's pose. Yeah. Toes can stay tucked or not. Sometimes it's nice. I've been really wanting to get into the openings of the bottom of my feet. Hint, hint, Pranjal, you should do this. And then you can grab for the outer edge of each side of your mat and then pull that forward as you pull back with your hips. Good. Forehead can rest on the ground. Take one more inhale here. One more exhale. Then you can release the hands and bring yourself up into all fours. Great. So before we do down dog again, flip that right hand where it is underneath your shoulder. So hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. We're flipping one hand and then take circles to the right. So we just want to get into our wrist mobility and the cleaning up of the wrist joint that does so much for us every single day. Gaze is down and out, or you can circle your head around here, circle in the other direction. Good. And then come back to center. Flip the right hand around the normal way, and then flip the left hand around. So back of the wrist is parallel to the front of the mat. Thinking about pressing down into the thumb side part of your hand a bit more and circling. We want to use the stronger sides of our hands to hold this up, more so than the not as strong sides. So we try to put a little bit more weight into the thumb side part of each hand when we're doing this. Circle in the other direction. Circle that head around if you want. Notice if that wrist comes up a little bit off the ground, that's totally fine. If when you go back, you lift that hand up a little. And then back to center. Place that left hand back a normal way. So our hands are back the normal way. Notice how our wrists feel. You'll lean back on your shins a little bit just to lift up your arms and still feel stable. Then you're going to fist bump your hands together and place them underneath your shoulders. Ow. And then rock yourself forward and back. Oh my gosh, I haven't done this in a while, so this is not very pleasant. Oopsie. But yeah, maybe it feels better for Grace. Good. Notice what this does. See if you can straighten your arms a little bit more. Whew. Builds a lot of heat for me. Notice what your feet are doing. Try to keep them relaxed and down into the floor. One more breath. One more rock. And then find your hands back underneath your shoulder. Just let all of that sensation ground into the floor. Plug yourself back into the earth. And then one more time, you'll flip that right wrist around. This time you'll straighten that right leg back, engage the leg, and then straighten the left leg back, engage the leg. So now we're in this like weird plank, and then try making some circles here. If this is like absolutely not, feel free to just place your knees back down and take some more circles like that, but try it. Rock forward and back, and then place the knees back down. Flip the wrist, flip the other wrist, and then tuck the left toe back this time, engage the leg, and then the right, and then come back into that circles. And this is where it really matters, or it always matters, but matters even more to be more on the thumb side part of each hand, so we're not dipping into those pinkies. Take a rock, and then place the knees down, untuck the toes, hands come back normal, let it settle, and when you're ready, we'll come into our first down dog. Hands place palm print in front of where they were. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, lift the hips up. And once you get to your dog, pedal it out. Yeah. Bending one knee, bending the other. It's been 30 minutes and we haven't done a dog, so good job, everybody. Moving it around, shake an arm, shake a leg, shake your head. Awesome. Cute. And then from there, we'll find a bit more of a formal dog. So once again, pressing down to the thumb side part of your hands a little bit more, wrapping your elbows in towards your face, extending the sits bones up to the sky, and then letting your knees have a slight bend in them and letting the energy waterfall back down the backs of the legs. One more inhale, thinking of that triangular wave of energy flowing up and over you. And then on your next inhale, lift your right leg up, down dog split. Bend that right knee, open the hip, and then take some circles with the knee and the ankle. Doesn't matter how high up the knee or ankle is. Still bending that left knee. Then extend that right leg nice and long and step that right foot to the outside of the right hand. Toes can still be facing forward. Take some rocks forward and back. Then place the back knee down, untuck the toes. Turn those right toes out a little bit so that they're on like a 45-degree angle. And then from here, just take a moment, letting the hips drop a little bit forward, letting the chest move through the arms. Your hands can also be on blocks here. One more inhale and exhale, and then tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and hop that left foot up to the outside of your left pinky, also turned out. You can put a block underneath your hips if you want to. I'm not going to just for this first round since we'll stay moving a little bit, but rock yourself right and left. Your hands can come to prayer and you can press your elbows back onto your knees. The main thing to think about here is that your knees are tracking over your toes. So if that's not happening, change what you're doing. Take one more inhale here and exhale. And find some visible stillness in the middle, but elbows are pressing back onto your knees are pressing onto elbows, and then those right fingertips will come down to the ground in front of your right foot, and you'll lift that left arm up to the sky. You can always put a block under you if you're like, this is unbearable and I hate it, but if it's just minor discomfort, try to stick through it, and then come back to center. Left elbow, left knee, left fingertips to the ground, and then reach that right arm up. Nice. Breathing in, opening the front of the chest, and come back to center. Hands come to prayer, and then as you inhale, you're gonna straighten your legs and shoot your arms up. Ow. And then exhale, come back down. And do this 4 more times, because I'm not evil. 3, 2, squeeze the butt, and 1, come back to Malasana, hands come down, straighten those legs, rock your hips from right and left. Ooh, shake that head out, yes and no. We barely did anything, and I'm in pain. Good pain, not bad pain. Fingertips stay down. Bend back into both knees, just so you can step that left leg back. So now we're back into the lunge that we were just in. Place the back knee down, untuck the toes, bring yourself forward. I'm gonna find my left fingertips on the upper left corner of my mat, but if you want to also put your hands on a block over there, that's totally fine. And then find your right hand on your right knee. Then begin the twist. And we think of beginning the twist by our pelvis and hips going forward and us looking forward. And then we look up to the sky as if we're falling like a whole rainbow arc behind us. That's how we are twisting. Good. And then from here, if it feels okay, You can reach that right arm back, and you can bend that left knee and grab the foot. Breathing into the quad stretch. One more inhale. And exhale. And then let that left leg go gently. Swim that right arm back and over if you grabbed it. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then bring your way back into your down dog. Paddling it out. If you like chaturangas, take a chaturanga. Otherwise, bring your body forward and through to an up dog. And then back to a down dog. Finding 3 breaths in your dog. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling the energy up the back. And exhaling, letting it waterfall down the legs. Inhaling, last one. Exhaling, let it all fall down. Inhale, lift the left leg up, down dog split. Bend the knee, open the hip, circle the ankle, circle the knee, both directions. Keeping your arms and shoulders nice and stable. So we're keeping stable with our 2 points of contact with the arms and 1 point of contact with the legs, so that we can have the ability to do anything crazy with this left leg. And then straighten the left leg and step to the outer part of the left hand. So toes face out a little bit, place the back knee down, untuck the toes, hands are on fingertips or blocks, and just let the chest move through the frame of the arms, looking out in front of you, out at your potential, out at what's to come. And then tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then hop that right foot to the outside of the right hand. Once again, block or no block. I'm gonna take a block because I'm feeling it today, but then hands come to prayer, elbows come to knees. And then this time, those right fingertips will come down here. You'll reach around and see if you can lift up, and then try to find the half bind. If not, one arm, the right arm can come around, left arm can still reach up, or you can just do what we did the other time. Just opening up the chest, all of them give you the same effects. Come back to center. Take a moment, hands come down, straighten both legs, forward fold. Then we'll do the other side. Then back into the knees track over toes, hands come to prayer. Fingertips come down to the ground in front. Then you can try to wrap around the front of that left leg, reach the right arm up, and then see if you can drape the right hand behind your back and find the left fingers. One side will probably feel easier than the other because our sides are not symmetrical, even though we try to be. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then reach that right arm up. Place it back down in front of you, both hands down, straighten the legs, rock yourself a little bit right and left. Very good. And then bend into the knees, move the block off if you had it, and step that right foot back again. Place the back knee down, untuck the toes, and then find those right fingertips to the upper right diagonal. Left hand comes to left knee, or those hands, the right hand can be on a block, whatever feels better. And then starting the twist, the twist from the pubic bone comes forward and then moves up, 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 and then you get all the way to the back. So that is what is initiating the twist. And then you can reach that left arm back and grab for the foot. Otherwise, just stay looking as much back behind you as you can. Breathing into the quad stretch. Breathing into the twist, the opening on the left side of the pec. And then let your leg go. Swim that left arm back. Move any props off to the side. Hands come down. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then step your left leg back, down dog. take your up dog to a down dog or any other fidgets or movements you would like to. And then find those 3 breaths in your dog once you're there. Thinking of the energy washing over you, keeping you lifted. It's like there's some energy there that's making you almost levitate and someone's pulling up off of your hips. One more inhale. One more exhale. And you'll bring yourself back to your plank. You'll place those knees down. And then we'll come and flip that right wrist again. Okay. So then you're gonna straighten that right leg, tuck the toes, straighten the left leg, and then see if you can come back into your down dog from here. You can walk your feet in a teens if you need to. Pressing more into the thumb side part of your hand. Bend those knees, stick the butt up, and then let that go. Place the knees down. Spin the right hand down. Good thing we only have 2 sides. Spin that left hand back. And then the left leg steps back. Right leg steps back. And then bring your hips back and up into your down dog. Head is just dangling in between your arms. Pressing down with that thumb side part of your hand. Feel free to come in and out of it too if that feels better. One more inhale. And exhale. Place those knees down. Hands come back to normal. And then we'll try it with both at the same time. Grace, have you done that before? Probably. Yeah, maybe. But we're gonna do it. So, flip both hands around. And then choose whichever leg you want to go through first to straighten and tuck. So you're back in the plank with both hands flipped. And then lift the hips up. Bend the knees, stick the butt up. It feels like a ton and it feels impossible, but it's good for you. Bend the knees, stick the butt up, take one more inhale and exhale, and then place the knees down, untuck the toes, unravel the hands, try not to shake them and just ground them back into the floor. Knees can come wide, big toes touch. Let your arms straighten out, relax the wrists. You can take some slow circles with the wrists in both directions if you want to, where you are in your child's pose. And just breathe. Okay. Take one more inhale here. And exhale. And then you'll take one more moment to come back into your down dog, just to feel complete with your down dog today. We didn't do that many of them, but take any other fidgets or movements you want to take before we come to our backs. You can come to the tops of the feet too, if you want to try that. Well, we could have done that with the wrist flipped and that would have been crazy. But then bend the knees when you're ready, sit to one side, and then have both blocks and whatever you have for a blanket or bolster, just an arm's distance when you roll yourself back down onto your bed. Cool. So we're on our back. You can remove your ponytail or anything else so that you have a nice even spot for your head on the ground. One hand on each knee, and then just let yourself rock right and left, circling the knees around. Then you're gonna place your feet on the ground. Your arms will come nice and long by your sides. You can see if you can graze your heels with your fingers. And we're gonna take 3 glute bridges just like this. So as you inhale, you'll squeeze the glutes, you'll lift the glutes, you'll lift your hips up, and then you'll bring yourself back down. Really think of squeezing the glutes and engaging the hamstrings as you go. Only 3 before we do something else. And after your third, you'll stay right where you are. Then you'll lift that right leg up to the sky. It can be slightly bent. Yeah. Yeah, hips can come down. Oh, sorry, Grace, I could have been more clear there. But hips are back down on the ground. Yeah. And then as you inhale, you'll lift your hips, low back, chest up with one leg, and then exhale, come back down. Only 3 in this way too. Inhaling, engage the left butt, use left hamstring to lift you up, and then bring you down. Last one, lift yourself up, squeeze the left glute, and then bring yourself back down. Low back comes down onto the ground, right foot comes down onto the ground next to the left, and then lift your left leg up to the sky. Foot can be totally relaxed here too. I think mine was just instinctively flexed, but it can be pointed flex or just do nothing. And then we'll do the other side. Inhale and squeeze the right butt, squeeze the right hamstring, and bring it back down. 2 more. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, lower. Really using your breath. Inhaling, lift. And exhaling, lower. And then place that left foot back down. Heel toe your feet so they're as wide as the mat. Take a moment in constructive rest. Hands can come on your belly. Find your breath. Enjoy the engagement in the glutes. You can rock your hips or your hips. You can windshield wipe your knees a little bit right and left gently. Great. And one more little abs thing, which I feel like will make so much sense to you, Grace, because I feel like we did this in like some expressions warm up somewhere. But we're gonna do 10 crunches this way, 10 crunches with our legs engaged, 10 crunches with our feet together, so Supta Baddha Konasana, and then there was one more I think I wanted to do. Oh, 10 in tabletop, and then we'll do 10 this way, 10 to the right twisted, and then 10 to the left twisted, and then we'll relax. So, okay, ready, and feet planted on the floor, knees to the sky, and we'll go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend the legs and 10. Heels together. Engage the legs. 8, 7. Belly in. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bring those feet together. Knees out. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring the knees back up to tabletop in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bring those knees to the right side. We're in kind of this twist. Left hand comes out, and then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees over to the other side. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're done. You can roll over onto a little baby cobra if you want, or you can just hug the knees in, let the belly come nice and soft. Circle your knees around, let your eyes close. Find your breath. We're done with our little glute and abs moment. Great. Place those feet back down onto the ground, and then find 1 or 2 of your blocks. You'll lift your hips up just enough to slide one of the blocks on its lowest, widest height under you. And then if you know that that's enough, stay there. Or if you want a little bit more height underneath your hips,
you can lift your hips up and put the other block. I just want to make sure that our sacrum, the part right below our butt, is stable on whatever level of blocks that you have. And then you can find your hands either down by your sides, palms facing up, or hands maybe kind of on your hip bones, or you can find your hands an opposite elbow up overhead, whatever feels like the choice you want to make today. Coming back to your breath, really trying to let it all slow down. Noticing what's coming up in your low back or the front of the hips. Might feel a little bit achy. And that's just space being created in an area where we don't give it too much. And if it feels comfortable for you, you can extend that right leg out. And then you can extend that left leg out, keeping both heels on the floor. So you're in this like rainbow arc up and over your blocks. There's no pinching, there's no sharp pain. If you do feel any of that, just it's not worth it. Bend the feet, bend the feet, bend the knees, and plant those feet on the ground. So this is giving you a very similar experience, if not the same, of extending the legs. You can also try extending one leg at a time and alternating if having both out feels like a little bit too much. But find your breath there, really thinking of filling up the whole torso with air, front, back, right, left sides of you are filling up with air as you take up space in this arc over the blocks. Take one more inhale and one more exhale. And then you'll step that right foot back in, bend the right knee, step the left foot back in, bend the left knee if you haven't already, or whichever side you did first. And take another breath in this restorative back bend. And then you'll squeeze the glutes again and lift your hips up just enough to remove the first block. Take a moment on the first one, or if you're already on the ground, you can come into constructive rest again. Take another moment here, just skipping our back down to reset. And then squeeze the glutes and lift your hips up enough to remove the other block if you have it. And gently place it down onto the ground, heel toe those feet so they're at constructive rest again, and find some stillness here. Knees knocking in on each other. Back gets to back, come back and neutralize after being in a supported back bend. Hands can come to be on the belly, one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. You can also come to find that opposite elbow grip up overhead. Encouraging some more space in the chest when we open the armpits. Take one more inhale here. One more exhale. And then we'll do a short pigeon sequence on our back. So you're gonna let that left leg go long and hug that right knee in. Good. Then you're gonna find your hands interlaced behind the back of that right knee and imagine that you're stepping that right foot up to the sky. So you're kind of in a low lunge on your back. Yeah. Good. Take a breath here. That back leg can also be really strong and engaged. So it's like we're doing a lunge, but just on our backs. And then if it feels available to you, you can either keep the hands here or grab for your right hand and left hand on your feet and really pull that right knee towards your right armpit. So we're kind of in this half happy baby lunge like position. Good. Notice what this feels like. Back is nice and lengthened on the ground. Then you're gonna cross that right shin over the body so that we're coming into like pigeon on our back. You're gonna find the bottom of the right foot in the left armpit and then wrap the right arm around the other part of the leg. And then interlace your hands and then let your head just drop back onto the ground. So it's like we're in that cradling shape before we move into compass, if you've done that before. And also, if this ever feels like way too much, you can bend that left knee and place that left foot on the ground. You'll still get a good hip opener stretch. Good. Take one more inhale here. One more exhale. And gently release. Lift that right leg up to the sky, lift the left leg up to the sky, and give them both a good shake. Other side, right leg goes long. Interlace your hands the weird way behind the left knee and bring that towards your chest. Flex that left foot as if you're in this lunge position on this side. So we're engaging the legs before we open the hip. Take one more breath here. Building up into the half happy baby. And then you can move your hands to the outer and inner parts of your feet if that feels comfortable to you, and really pull that left knee to your left armpit. Good. Noticing what this does to your hips and even the front of that right leg. I feel a nice opening there too. One more inhale and exhale. And then that left foot comes towards the right side. So our shin is like parallel to our bodies. And then that inner right elbow comes underneath the left arch. And we wrap we wrap the left arm around the, what's it called? The left arm around the left knee. Lock your hands together and then let your head drop back. That right knee can always bend and right foot can plant on the floor, or you can leave it out nice and long. Oof. Notice which hip feels like there's more work to be done. And you can always rock right and left. Yeah, nice, Grace. Giving some dynamic movement here. There's a cool way to do this pose with like letting your hands become a basket for the head, but I forget how to do it, so I'm gonna figure it out afterwards so I can teach it next time. Take one more inhale and exhale, and then you'll bend the right foot and that right foot, bend the right knee, plant the right foot on the ground, lengthen that left leg up to the sky. Lengthen the right leg up, circle the ankles, circle your wrists, bend the knees a little bit. Good. And since we have time, we can set ourselves up for legs up the wall if you're near a wall, or you can just put your bolster or blanket thing underneath your knees to give your hips a little bit of a rest. So find whichever option you want to do. Feel free to make yourself warmer, put on socks, put on sweatshirt. We'll rest here for a few minutes. I'm gonna put this bolster underneath my knees. I could also come up to the wall and just sit next to it and then flip my legs up. Good. Then once you're there, really take your time to set yourself up so you can roll the shoulders down and back. You can fidget your hands, you can fidget your feet. You can shake your legs and arms out a little bit. Just get all the fidgets out so you can find as much visible stillness as possible. Letting your body just be here on your mat, coming back to the reason why you're here, why you come back to the mat, why you came here today. And just reminding yourself of that, being grateful and also proud of the work you've done and can do. So taking the next few minutes to really rest and appreciate all the effort that you just put in and that you put in every day to be the best version of yourself, to be the best version for others. Following your breath, noticing if thoughts come to mind, as they always will, but see if you can let the thought come and then come back to your breath instead of going down the pathway of the thought to the next thought and the next thought and the next thought. No, we're going to come back to the breath even as the thoughts come up. And that might be harder today than other days, but that's just information and something to notice. Begin to notice where you are in space again. Notice where your mind may have gone off to. And just come back to imagining and using your proprioception to visualize where you are in space, in your house, on the floor. What are you near? What's around you? Coming back to the present and getting ready to go about the rest of our day. We'll bring some wiggles back into your fingers, your toes, your arms, your legs, until it's enough movement to roll you over onto your right or left side, whichever you're feeling today, whichever comes more naturally. Taking a breath there in your fetal position, and then keeping your eyes closed or your gaze towards the floor. You'll bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. If you want to do Virasana, you can. Otherwise, just sitting nice and cross-legged on your mat. And find your breath, sitting up tall again. As we did in the beginning, after we manipulated it, notice how your breath might differ from the first breath we took when we brought some consciousness into the unconsciousness of our body's involuntary tasks that it does for us every single day. And then we'll take one breath all together to close practice. So we'll bring our hands to press at the center of our chest. We'll exhale our air out to meet on empty. And we'll take a big inhale through the nose.
Holding it at the top. And then big sigh, exhale out the mouth. Finding your normal breath again. Once again, the last time coming back to why you're here, why you like to be here, or why you don't like to be here. Then bring your thumb knuckles up to third eye center in between your eyebrows, and we'll end practice with a final bow, honoring our efforts. Thank you so much. Yay.
Yay!